Hello everyone, welcome to Drishti IAS. I am Disha Bhatt, your educator, and again I'm back with the another video which is a part of our Economy This Week series. So let's start. I have came up with 4 important news which we are going to cover in this session. The first news is related to RBI to pilot 10 rupees and 20 rupees polymer notes. This news which we are going to cover. Why I've included this news? Because any initiative of RBI becomes important for your exams. UPSC have asked a lot of questions related to RBI, the initiatives of RBI, RBI's Monetary Policy Committee. Okay. Then we will be covering India's first telecom manufacturing zone in Gwalior. The third news which we are going to cover is US tariffs on Indian goods under Section 301. We will understand that why US has levied 10% tariff on Indian goods, what was the core reason, and we will also try to understand the static portion. Okay. Then last news is related to the offline UPI payment system by NPCI. And finally, we will be solving some practice questions. Okay. So, see, RBI to pilot rupees 10 and 20 rupees polymer banknotes. See, the government of India has approved the RBI to conduct the pilot trials of 10 rupees and 20 rupees polymer banknotes. This means what? That the synthetic notes, these 10 rupees and 20 rupees notes will be printed and they will be circulated in the market. Along with the earlier notes, the earlier notes which we are using, they are made up of paper. So along with that, these 10 rupees and 20 rupees polymer banknotes will be circulated in the economy. And it is just a trial. RBI is doing it just for a trial purpose. Okay. Now the main question is that why we have chosen 10 rupees and 20 rupees notes? Why we haven't chosen 500 rupees notes or 2000 rupee note? Because the main reason is these 10 rupees and 20 rupees notes are very high in circulation. They are used in most frequency. They are used in more frequently. Okay. Because their frequency, they are used more frequently. Because of this reason, that's why we are conducting trials on them. Okay, the wear and tear is more in 10 rupees and 20 rupees notes, bank notes. Okay, now this trial will be implemented by Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. Now this company is responsible for printing these synthetic notes, and this company is a subsidiary of RBI, which means it comes under your RBI. All right. Now the pilot will introduce polymer notes alongside existing paper currency. Existing paper currency will keep on circulating. Okay. Along with that, these polymer notes will be introduced. Now, what are the objectives? See, the objective is to increase the lifespan of frequently used lower denomination notes. Okay. We want to increase their lifespan, because the new notes will be made up of polymer. Polymer is a synthetic plastic, right? Because of this reason, these notes will be more durable. There will be less chances of them tearing apart. Okay, because of that, it will increase the lifespan. It will also reduce the cost of frequent reprinting. You don't have to reprint them again and again because these notes are durable. They won't get tear apart. Okay, minimizing soil and damage currency, reducing the environmental wastage generated through repeated note replacement. When we print paper notes, a lot of paper is used, a lot of ink material is used, a lot of electricity is also used in the printing process, and these notes gets damaged very easily. Because if we are using polymer notes, then it will also reduce the environmental wastage because paper is not being used, right? Okay, plastic is being used. Okay, now I have explained you the reason that why we have chosen 10 rupees and 20 rupees notes, because these notes are in very high circulation. Okay, people use them more frequently. You don't think much, while spending 10 rupee, 20 rupees notes, but you will think 10 times before spending 500 rupee note. Okay, they change hands frequently, and therefore we are out much faster than the higher value notes. Okay. Now, what are polymer notes? Polymer banknotes are printed on a synthetic plastic film instead of traditional cotton paper. Okay, it is made up of synthetic plastic. What are the key features of polymer banknotes? These are the benefits of using the polymer banknotes. The first feature is moisture and dirt tear resistance. They will not get dirtier. They won't be teared apart, right? They are more durable. They are stronger than the paper notes. Then conventional paper notes. It enhanced security features, difficult to counterfeit. You cannot fake it. Paper notes can be faked very easily. That's why the counterfeit is possible in that paper notes. But in polymer notes, it is not possible. Recyclable after the end of its useful life. These notes can be recycled very easily. Longer circulation life with lower replacement frequency. Okay, so what are the outcomes? It has a longer lifespan. It has improved security because you cannot fake the polymer currency. It has a lower maintenance cost and they are environmental friendly. That's why RBI has introduced the polymer notes. Now, this was the news which we have covered. Now, let us come to the static part, which is important for your exam. Now, the main question is, who issues the currency notes in India? Very important. See, under section 22 of RBI Act 1934, RBI has the exclusive authority to issue bank notes in India. Very important key fact for you. Okay, under section 22 of RBI Act 1934, RBI has the authority to issue bank notes in India. But there is one exception. What is that exception? See, this 1 rupee note is issued by the Ministry of Finance. Except 1 rupee note, all other notes are issued by RBI. But if we talk about 1 rupee note, it is issued by the Ministry of Finance and it is signed by the Finance Secretary. Okay, all other banknotes are issued by RBI through its issue department. Is that clear to you? This data is extremely important for your examination. It can be asked in your prelims. Now, let us talk about this company I've explained you. Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of RBI. It is responsible for printing India's currency notes and it operates currency printing process in Karnataka and West Bengal. Okay. Now, I also attached one previous year question. You don't have to solve this. I have attached it so that you realize the importance of this topic. I only include those topics which are important for your examination, right? So this question was asked in 2024. It is related to the RBI. Consider the following statement in respect of the digital rupee. Statement first is, it is a sovereign currency issued by Reserve Bank of India in alignment with its monetary policy. Second statement, it appears as a liability on the RBI's balance sheet. Third statement, it is insured against inflation by its very design. Fourth statement, it is freely convertible against commercial bank money and cash. Okay, it's a PYQ and it is important for you. If you know the answer, do write in the comment section. Okay. Well, the correct statement is the correct option is statement D. Okay. In this particular option, statement 3 is incorrect. All right. Now let us move to the next news. See, the next news says India's first telecom manufacturing zone. Okay. This information is important for your preliminary examination. And under GS3, there is one subtopic called infrastructure. Now, this news is important for that subtopic as well. Okay. So, the news is that Department of Telecommunication and Madhya Pradesh government have signed a memorandum of understanding. Now, under that memorandum of understanding, what has been decided that Telecom Manufacturing Zone, that is TMZ, will be established in Gwalior. Okay. So, let us cover. See, the DOT and the government of Madhya Pradesh have signed the memorandum of understanding to establish India's first telecom manufacturing zone in Gwalior. Now, this project will be developed as a plug-and-play manufacturing ecosystem. Very important keyword. What is plug-and-play manufacturing model? Let us try to understand that. Okay. Let's just say you want to start a company. Now, in order to start a company, you need to take few steps. You need to set up the base. You need to buy the land. You need to construct a building so that you can start your factory there. You need to develop the roads. You need to get the water and electricity available in your premises. So all of these steps are required. You need the basic infrastructure to start a company. Okay. But in plug and play model, what happens is that the government will already provide you the basic infrastructure necessity. The government will provide you the premises. The government will provide you the roads, developed roads. The government will provide you the land, everything. And you just have to get the approval. You just need to take your machines there and you just have to start the production process. Now, this is your plug and play manufacturing model. So, in TMZ, this particular model will be used. What is the objective of establishing Telecom Manufacturing Zone? See, the objective is to make India a global hub for the manufacturing of telecom equipments while strengthening domestic telecom infrastructure and reducing the import dependence. There are twin objectives. We want to increase our manufacturing in telecom sector. Plus, we also want to reduce our import dependence. India imports a lot of telecom related components from other nations. For example, routers, 5G, 6G equipments, and optical fiber cables. And there are certain equipments which is required in the production of smartphone. So India imports a lot of these components. We want to reduce our import dependence, and we also want to expand our manufacturing base. Okay, tell me in the comment section how much manufacturing sector contributes to our GDP. Okay, you might be aware of this. The contribution is very less if we compare it to the service sector. Service sector contributes a lot, more than 50%, but the share of manufacturing sector is very less. Okay, so if we will take these initiatives, the government of India will take these initiatives, it will help us to increase the share of manufacturing sector, and it will also attract the foreign direct investment. Okay, all right. Now I've already explained you what is plug and play manufacturing model. See, a model where industrial infrastructure is provided in advance. The basic infrastructure will be provided to you in advance. You just have to come and start the production, okay? Enabling firms to start operations quickly without creating basic facility from scratch. Now, what benefit it will provide you? It will provide you the faster project implementation. You don't have to waste time to acquire land to construct the building, okay? Initially, the whole process was very lengthy. Establishing a company was a very difficult process, but now it will lead to the faster project implementation, okay? Lower initial investment. The companies don't have to do much investment. It will lower the initial investment. So the cost of initial investment has reduced because government has already provided you the basic infrastructure. It will improve the ease of doing business and greater investment attractiveness. It will also attract the foreign investors. Foreign investors will be willing to set up their base or their industries in these industrial clusters. Okay, you can remember this. See, it's a plug and play model. Plug means what? Just take up your machineries, establish it, plug it, and play. That means start production. So it is a plug and play model. Now, what is Telecom Manufacturing Zone? Let us understand that what is TMZ. See, the Telecom Manufacturing Zone is a dedicated industrial cluster where companies manufacturing telecom equipments can establish production units with ready infrastructure. Okay, now what is industrial cluster? Do you guys know about industrial clusters? See, industrial cluster is a place where a lot of companies which belong to a similar sector will come together and they will start their production. There are a lot of examples of industrial clusters. For example, there are textile clusters, there are food parks, okay, food processing, a lot of food processing companies will come together in a land, they will acquire some land and then all the companies will work together, okay. There are diamond parks, there are pharmaceutical parks. So all of these are clusters. That means companies which belong to a same sector will come together and they will start their production. So Telecom Manufacturing Zone is also an industrial cluster, but it will work under which sector? It will work under a telecom sector. All the telecom related company will come together, will establish their premises in the Gwalior, okay, and then they will start their production. What are the key features of TMZ? The first feature is plug and play industrial infrastructure. Common testing and certification facilities will be provided there. Okay, if you will manufacture the telecom related products, you need to test them, you need the certification, right? Before launching them into the market, you need the certification that is my product reliable enough. Okay, so certification facilities will be provided. Reliable power and digital connectivity will be provided. Okay, logistics and warehousing support so that you can store your products in a warehouse. Then single window facilitation for investors. Now, why is the Telecom Manufacturing Zone is important for India? You can use these points in your mains answer writing. Okay, these are some points which you can use, which you can use in multiple answers. If anything comes related to manufacturing sector, you can mention this initiative. Okay, so what TMZ helps us? It will help us to enhance our technological innovation. Enhances technological innovation, research and development investments. We keep complaining about the fact that the government doesn't spend much in research and development. So under TMZ, what is happening? We are also focusing on R&D. We are developing indigenous technology solutions. We don't have to rely on foreign nations to provide us solutions of our problems. We will make our own solutions. Okay, it assures the digital security. You do not have to rely on networking about networking related components on different countries. Okay, trusted supply chain, resilient communication network, and it protects the national security because telecom sector is a critical sector, right? So in a way, it also protects our privacy or digital security. Then it will also lead to the economic growth and exports. Okay, it will lead to the job creation. Whenever industrial clusters are established, it creates a lot of employment opportunities. So a lot of job creation is going to happen. It will also increase the imports of telecom equipments. Whatever telecom equipments will be manufactured in the industrial clusters, it will also help us to export that to the other countries. We can also sell those products to other countries. Okay, and it will help us to increase our foreign exchange reserves. Then it will also boost our GDP contribution because we have increased our production, and GDP measures the monetary value of production. Okay. Then it will boost our domestic production, it will reduce our import dependence, and it will promote the Make in India initiative and Aatmanirbhar Bharat. Okay. Now the third news is related to US imposes 10% tariff on Indian goods over forced labor concern. Let us try to understand why US has imposed additional 10% tariff. See, US has imposed 10% tariff on imports from India under Section 301 of US Trade Act. These tariffs are linked to concerns over the forced labor in global supply chain. Let me give you a brief context behind this news. See, what does the US want from other countries? US wants that the other countries should make a trade policies. The other country should discourage the trade of those goods which have been manufactured by using forced labor. Are you able to understand my point? Okay, these goods should not be involved in trade which have been manufactured by using forced labor. Now, why US is concerned so much about this? See, because these goods which have been manufactured by using forced labor, it's in some or the other way, it distorts our international trade. Now, how it distorts our international trade, let me explain you. Okay, for example, there is one company in Germany and there is one company in Africa. Okay, both these countries are producing toys. Okay, now Germany is paying 50 rupees. Now, I know the currency of Germany is different, but just to simplify this news, let me give you an example. Okay, so the Germany is paying 50 rupees to its laborers, and they are producing a toy which costs around 100 rupees. Okay, the toys which Germany is producing, it costs around 100 rupees, and Germany is paying 50 rupees to its laborers. Okay, while on the other hand, Africa is producing a toy which costs around 60 rupees. But Africa is not paying anything to its laborers. Africa is involved in forced labor. Okay, so it is very obvious that all the countries, if they have to buy a toy, if given an option, they will choose Africa because their toys are cheaper. Okay, now this practice have distorted the international trade. The actual price of the toy was 100 rupees, but in a way, this 60 rupees is a artificial price. So in that way, this forced labor distorts the international trade, and US wants to discourage the trade of these goods which have been manufactured using forced labor. That's why US is imposing tariffs on those nations which do not have any rules and regulation with regard to this. Okay. Now, the decision follows a USTR investigation covering 60 economies. USTR did some investigation. It investigated around 60 countries, and it found out that India has no rules and regulations with regard to this. India was initially proposed to face a 12.5% tariff. Initially, US imposed 12.5% tariff on us, but India made some changes in its foreign trade policy. Because of that fact, now we just have to, US has levied 10% tariff on Indian goods. Okay. Now see, India amended its foreign trade policy. See, US initially proposed 12.5% tariff on imports from India, but India amended its foreign trade policy. We brought a rule, okay, through DGFT. DGFT brought a rule. India banned the import of goods produced using a forced labor. Now we have banned the import of those goods which have been manufactured using forced labor. So India has now a rule with regard to this. So because of this reason, US has given us some concession. Okay. Now US has recognized this policy and changed it as a positive step towards improving the trade standards. However, it noted that the effective enforcement of the ban is still required. US says that, all right, we acknowledge that you have made a rule, but what about the enforcement? Making rules is a very easier thing to do. You can make a rule anytime, but what about the enforcement? But because you have made a rule, now we will charge you 10%. Okay, 10% tariff will be levied on Indian goods instead of 12.5%. Okay. Now let us talk about the key concepts which I have picked up from this news, and it is important for your examination. See, first is Section 301 of US Trade Act. Now it's a US trade law. When does the US uses Section 301? See, it allows US President to impose a retaliatory trade measures whose trade practices are considered unfair or discriminatory. Okay, US uses Section 301 against those countries which are engaged in unfair trade practices. Now, US has previously used this Section 301 against China. Okay, so you have to remember that Section 301 is a part of US Trade Act, and US uses this section whenever the president feels or the government feels that any country is involved in unfair trade practice. So as per this section, the US can impose the tariffs. Okay. Now, next thing we have to understand is what is forced labor. As per the definition of ILO, according to ILO, work performed under a threat of punishment and without workers' voluntary consent. If a labor is doing a work against his will because of the threat of punishment, then that is a forced labor. In most of the cases, forced labors are not being paid. All right. Now let us also talk about the DGFT, because if you have to amend your foreign trade policy, which organization is involved? DGFT is involved. Okay, DGFT is a attached office. It comes under your Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Very important fact. You have to remember it. DGFT is extremely important for you. It can be asked in exams. DGFT comes under your Ministry of Commerce and Industry. It is headed by Director General of Foreign Trade, that is DGFT. Now, what is the main responsibility of DGFT? It is responsible for formulating and implementing the India's foreign trade policy to promote export. Okay. Its headquarters are in New Delhi. What are its key functions? It issues import and export license. Okay, you need license to export anything. If you have to export, you want to sell your products to other nations, you need export license. And in other case, if you have to import something, for that also you need license. So it is the main function of DGFT to issue import and export license. Then it also regulates, restricts or prohibits import and export. There are certain things which you cannot import. There are some key endangered species, like it could be an animal, it could be a plant, flora and fauna. You cannot do a trade amongst them. So who decides it? DGFT decides it. It also advises the government on foreign trade policy and international economic developments. All right. Now the next news is related to NPCI developing offline UPI payment system. See, NPCI is extremely important. Previously UPSC has asked a question on NPCI, that is National Payment Corporation. Okay. Now, we use UPI when it comes to doing transactions. Most of us use UPI to buy anything. If we have to purchase anything, we use UPI. Okay. But UPI has its own limitation. What is that limitation? You can use UPI only when your mobile phone has an internet connectivity. Without this connectivity, without internet connection, you cannot make transactions with the help of UPI. Now, NPCI has came up with the initiative to solve this particular problem. Okay, see, the NPCI is developing a new offline UPI payment system. NPCI is trying to make a new offline UPI payment system. The proposed system will allow users to make UPI payments even without the internet connectivity. Because often at times we are at a situation where there is no internet. Now in that situation, how do we make the transactions? Okay, government knows that we are in some cases we have been dependent. Okay, when it comes to digital transaction, Indian users have a lot of share in that. Okay, all right. So under the current UPI system, both the customer's smartphone and the merchant's POS machine can remain offline during the transaction. Now, what is the objective? The objective of this initiative is to expand the digital payment in areas where internet connectivity is weak or unavailable. It will also improve our financial inclusion. Now, the people who do not have the internet connection, they can also make the UPI transaction. All right. Now, likely use cases. See, whenever we are in some cases, we are at such places where there is no internet connectivity, like underground metro stations, flights, remote and rural areas, or locations with temporary network outage. Sometimes there is a network outage. Okay. So during these situations, you can make a UPI transaction. Again, I have attached a practice question. See, it has been asked in your PYQ. You have to solve this on your own. Consider the following statement. NPCI helps in promoting financial inclusion in the country. NPCI has launched a RuPay, a card payment scheme. Which of the statement given above are correct? Okay, answer this question in the comment section. Try to solve this. All right. Now let us understand the working mechanism, how it will work. See, before going offline, the customer connects to the internet and loads a limited payment value proposed up to 2000 rupees onto the smartphones. Now this value is stored as a secure encrypted payment tokens generated by the banking system. See, first of all, 2000 rupees will be pre-authorized. Okay, let us assume that your bank balance is 50,000 rupees and your smartphone has an internet connectivity. Now what it will do is, it will reserve 2000 rupees as your offline wallet. We have taken an example. Let's just say your bank balance is 50,000 rupees. Now out of this 50,000, 2000 rupees will be reserved as your offline wallet, so that you can use this 2000 rupees when your mobile phone has no internet connectivity, right? And these 2000 rupees will be kept as a digital tokens. For example, digital token A, digital token B, digital token C. These 2000 rupees will be converted into digital tokens, and you will use these tokens whenever you have to purchase anything. Okay, see, 2000 onto the smartphone. This value is stored as a secure encrypted payment tokens generated by the banking system. Cryptography will be involved here. Okay, now offline payments through NFC. Now when you have to make payments, how you will make them? The customer initiate payment by tapping the smartphone on NFC enabled point of sale terminal. For example, let's just say I have to buy a chocolate. I will take my smartphone and I will go to the seller. The seller will be having a point of sale machine. I will tap my phone in that point of sale machine and immediately my token will be delivered to him. Okay. Now here, which technology is being used? The near field communication technology is being used. Okay, near field communication technology is used in this entire process. You must have seen the metro cards. If any one of you has traveled in a metro, what do? We take a metro card, we just tap that card into the machine and the amount gets deducted. So similar thing will be happening here itself. Okay, so the tokens will be delivered to the seller through near field communication technology. Now this technology works under the distance of 5 to 10 centimeter. Okay, all right, and this entire process will happen without the internet. After that, there will be a token-based authentication. Instead of seeking a real-time approval from the bank, the smartphone transfers a pre-authorized payment token. I've explained you pre-authorized token to the merchant's point of sale. Since the token has already been validated during online authorization, no live balance verification or authentication is required. Okay, and after a while, there will be a deferred settlement. Once your smartphone gets the internet connectivity, then the live transaction will happen. Then the real-time transaction will take place. In that case, the amount will get deducted. Okay. Once internet connectivity is restored, the merchant's POS uploads the transaction detail to NPCI, which validate the payment and facilitates the settlement between the customer's bank and the merchant's bank. Is that clear to you? So that's how this particular thing will work. This is the working mechanism. Okay. Now, here is a difference between the conventional UPI and the proposed offline UPI. If we talk about internet connectivity, in the conventional UPI, internet is mandatory. In the proposed offline UPI, no requirement during the payment. Authentication, in the case of authentication, there will be a real-time bank verification. Okay, at the time you're making transaction, there will be a real-time bank verification. If we talk about the offline UPI, pre-authorized payment tokens. Okay, tokens will be provided to you. Okay. If we talk about the technology, online banking network is being used. Here in the proposed UPI, near field communication technology is being used and offline tokenization is also being used. Okay. If we talk about conventional UPI, the settlement is instant. Instantly the amount will be deducted from your bank account. The transaction will take place immediately. But in proposed offline UPI, it is deferred. After connectivity is restored, then the amount will be deducted. If we talk about the merchant connectivity, internet is required, but here internet is not required during the payment. If we talk about the transaction limit, in the conventional UPI, the transaction limit is as prescribed by the banks, but if we talk about offline UPI, The proposed transaction limit is 2000 rupees. There is a transaction limit that is 2000 rupees. Alright. Now, let us come to the practice questions. You have to solve them on your own. See, with reference to the currency issuance in India, consider the following statements. First statement, the RBI has the exclusive authority to issue all banknotes in India. Is this statement correct? Second, the 1 rupee note is issued by the Ministry of Finance. Which of the statements given above are correct? Option A, 1 only, option B, 2 only, option C, both 1 and 2, option D, neither 1 or 2. Choose the correct option. Read the statements very carefully. Question 2. With reference to the plug and play manufacturing zones, consider the following statement. Statement 1. They provide the ready industrial infrastructure before manufacturing unit commence operations. Statement 2. They reduce the time and cost involved in setting up the manufacturing facilities. Which of the statements given above are correct? Option A, 1 only, option B, 2 only, option C, both 1 and 2, option D, neither 1 and 2. Solve these questions, okay? And if you like today's lecture, do let me know. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe. And do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.